That is a skull.
Help! Help!
Someone.
Weird sounds. I thought it was the wind first, but...
On March 31st, 2025, somewhere in Mississippi, Roman of the Roaming Reckless channel pushed forward on her 50-state journey with her dog Tazzy. Her uploads usually capture endless highways, still nights inside her aging Land Rover, and the random problems that follow a life spent traveling. But when she entered Mississippi that evening, the sky changed quickly, and the night ahead would challenge her more than she anticipated.
Oh my gosh. Oh great, we're in a flash flood warning. Love it. Yeah. Alright. Oh my gosh, my wiper just fell off. My wiper literally just fell off. Oh, I think I see it right there. Luckily, I think it just fell onto the bonnet. This is the weather and I have no wiper. Yep. Welcome to Mississippi. This is nuts. Holy cow. Oh no. My wipers just stopped working altogether. It's cool.
The storm moved in immediately. A flash flood alert appeared on her phone as rain surrounded the vehicle. Visibility vanished as the road smeared beneath the force of the downpour. Roman stayed behind the wheel, hoping the system would pass, but conditions never eased. Another problem was about to hit. Then, while still caught in the storm, the windshield wiper arm suddenly came loose and dropped off. With rain hammering down, losing it left her barely able to see the road. She stopped to recover it, but the failure had already happened. The wiper would not function again. She began looking for somewhere to park, relying on dim visibility and instinct alone.
Oh my gosh, it's a downpour. Go potty. Go potty. Hurry up. Go potty. This storm is way worse than last time. Go potty. Go potty. Hurry up. Tazzy, go potty. This is not good. Oh my gosh, this is awful. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm absolutely drenched. And we thought Tennessee was bad. Tennessee was nothing. Back at it again, camping in a storm. The flash flood warning is only on for like the next hour though, so I think we'll be fine. Oh my gosh, I have so many leaks in this truck. Dinner tonight is inspired by Kendrick Lamar because in the Peekaboo song, he has this line where he says, "Cacio pepe if I'm doing pasta. Cacio pepe if I'm doing pasta. Why you acting tough on IG Live?" Voila. 3-ingredient pasta. Basically just heating stuff up. Super easy. A little thunderstorm. A little pasta. It's all good. I finished up dinner, changed out of my wet clothes finally, and then Tazzy and I headed up in the Alley-Cab to go to sleep for the night.
She finally made it into a small town and pulled over long enough to breathe and let Tazzy outside. The rain kept coming, drenching them almost instantly. She got back into the truck, worn down by the drive and the non-stop battle against the weather. For a moment, she tried to calm herself and prepare to sleep. Back inside the vehicle, she made a simple cacio e pepe while reflecting on the endless driving, the wired feeling that comes after too many hours on the road, and her hope that the worst part of the storm had moved past. With dinner ready and the diesel heater running, the truck finally seemed peaceful again for the moment.
A couple of hours after we fell asleep, the storm picked up actually, and it was worse than it had ever been before. A lightning bolt struck somewhere very close to the truck while we were sleeping, and the crack was so loud, it jolted me at least a foot out of bed, and I am not joking. After that, Tazzy and I spent the rest of the night shaking, and I can genuinely say I have never feared riding out a storm before while camping. It was just so intense, and it felt helpless to be in the middle of such an insane thunderstorm, feeling like a target basically in the woods, that a mouse actually got into my truck and chewed its way through. But more on that later. Anyways, safe to say I was really grateful to wake up in the morning, safe and with the sun shining. Girl, Mama, good girl.
Sometime later, after she fell asleep, a lightning strike landed close enough to snap her awake. She and Tazzy stayed awake afterward, unsettled by how violently it happened. By daylight, she discovered evidence that a mouse had slipped in during the storm chewing insulation, before vanishing again. She cleaned the mess, picked up supplies for the road, and drove on after one of the roughest nights of her journey. People who knew Mississippi weather pointed out that storms with non-stop lightning often form near much more dangerous conditions. Some viewers said they could not have slept through a night like that even inside a home, which made them question what may have moved through the area while she was resting. If lightning hit close enough to wake her up, and animals were desperate enough to hide inside her truck, some viewers wondered, was she only caught on the edge of that system, or was something much stronger moving through the darkness? Krikos is a woman drawn to motorcycles, wild outdoor spaces, and the thrill of exploring nature, camping and chasing freedom on two wheels. She wants to motivate others to leave their comfort zones, take on new challenges, and pursue the things they dream about. Her videos are pleasant to watch, especially if you enjoy forest settings. But in this specific upload, the mood felt different. She was attempting to camp deep in the woods, and from the very start, she had a strong, uneasy feeling about the area. The video was posted on the Krikos Adventure channel on April 5th, 2026.
I'm looking for a place to stay. I'm just here deep into the forest, and I'm gonna stay somewhere and sleep next to my motorcycle. And as you see, we don't have that much snow left. It's almost gone. The roads are clear.
After looking around for a while, she finally found what appeared to be an ideal campsite and started preparing everything.
I'm pretty happy. I think we're gonna stay here. First of all, we're gonna go and collect some spruce branches because we're gonna lay on those ones because they're really wet on the ground. My survival instinct is kicking in so quickly when you're out here. Like every sound, I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
She had chosen her location, but now she needed to collect materials to make the ground more comfortable for sleeping. So that is exactly what she set out to do.
This is the bag where I will sleep tonight. It's a bivy cover for sleeping bag. Sleeping bag. This sleeping bag. The winter sleeping bag is okay. It's not as comfortable as this one with the feather. I'm gonna let it get some air, and then I'm gonna make the fire, and then I can just jump in and feel it a little bit. What do you think?
The fire was finally burning, and it was time to make food because after all that work, the body needs fuel. But as she was eating, the atmosphere changed. She began feeling unsettled, not in a clear or obvious way, but in the sort of way that is difficult to describe, as if something was off, as if she was not alone anymore, as if something beyond the camp was watching her.
It's really weird. Weird sounds. I thought it was the wind first, but there is barely no wind here.
Okay, here's the thing. I can feel it in my guts. There's something with this place that doesn't feel right, and there's something is off here, so I'm gonna pack all my stuff and I'm gonna go back.
There were too many noises surrounding her campsite, and it could have been an animal moving nearby, something else, or simply nothing at all, but that is something neither she nor anyone viewing can know. In moments like this, leaving early is usually the safest decision. Experienced campers understand that a sudden uneasy feeling is not meaningless. It is the body responding to something that feels wrong. Paying attention to your surroundings and acting quickly can stop a situation from getting worse. Rather than waiting for obvious danger, it is safer to move away while you still have the chance. When something feels wrong, even with no clear explanation, would you stay and risk it or leave before it becomes something worse? A normal walk through a silent forest park became far more disturbing than anyone expected. The footage posted on May 9th, 2025 by the YouTube channel Johnny Paranormal has left viewers wondering what might still be hidden outside. In this video, Johnny was exploring a part of the woods he had entered many times before. He moved slowly, studying the ground and nearby trees the same way he usually did while checking the park for anything strange. As he continued along the path, he suddenly froze. Something lying in the leaves had caught his eye.
How do I touch this being respectful? I don't want to use my foot. That is a skull.
At first, it appeared to be a light-colored object partly covered by foliage. Johnny stepped closer, carefully aiming the camera at it as he tried to make sense of the shape. For a second, he seemed unsure, but then the meaning became clear. The object resting on the forest floor was a skull. The skull looked small and weathered, making it seem as though it had remained in the woods for a long time. Dirt and moss surrounded it, hiding it so naturally against the ground that anyone could have passed by without noticing. What made the find feel even more disturbing was that he had checked this same area before. He had walked through that exact spot several times during earlier explorations, yet somehow the skull had escaped his attention until now. That realization appeared to affect him deeply. Johnny then searched the nearby space, looking over the ground and the branches around him for anything that might explain what he had found.
So basically, found a body within 2 hours. That's a very old body. So not even body, it's just the head. Rest in peace.
On previous searches, he had seen ropes or marks in the trees, details that suggested someone may once have been in trouble there. But this time, nothing clearly connected the skull to one specific incident. He stopped to think about how long the remains had possibly been there. From the skull's condition, it seemed the person may have been lying in that forest for quite a while. He also wondered if it could have belonged to a woman, though there was no way to know for sure. For a channel built around strange and unsettling places, this moment felt different from the rest. There were no unexplained noises, no paranormal activity, only the quiet discovery of human remains sitting in a forgotten location, where someone's story had been completely lost. It began with a single dog, then another, until suddenly he understood he was surrounded on every side. Each step he tried to take only made them press in closer, turning the encounter into something he would never forget. In footage posted on March 11, 2026, the creator behind the YouTube channel, Alexander Campbell, recorded one of his treks through the mountains of northern Turkey as part of his mission to walk around the world. That day, Alexander was leaving the city of Niksar, and as he climbed farther into the mountains, he passed a mixture of curious animals and lonely settlements. But when evening started to settle and strange noises began moving through the bushes around him.
Something in those bushes for sure. I've heard some weird noises, like maybe it's pigs. It's gotta be a pig. Can you hear him? I see him. Whoa. Whoa. Oh my god, there's like hundreds of them. That was crazy. There must have been like a good 20 or 30 of them. They all ran away, but I can still hear some of them rustling around.
At first, he could not tell what he was hearing, but soon a large group of wild boars suddenly burst from the forest. It was a startling moment, but the true danger had not shown itself yet. The next day, as Alexander kept traveling through remote villages, he encountered something local people often warn travelers about shepherd dogs. Some moved their tails, while others only watched him as he went by.
It looks empty. I take it back, we got 2 doggies coming. They're very cute. Hey guys, how you doing? Oh, you're gorgeous, aren't you? Hello. Hello. Oh, there's even more of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But eventually, the mood changed sharply when he entered another village. Without warning, several large dogs began moving toward him aggressively. Within seconds, more came from different directions until he was boxed in. The animals barked hard and crept closer.
Buddy. 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 Help, 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 help. Help. Guys, help. Help. Help.
Forcing him to move backward. For almost 10 minutes, he remained trapped in place. Whenever he tried to leave, the dogs rushed again. With his hiking pole, he tried to hold them away, but the animals bit the pole and attempted to yank it from his hands.
Help! Help!
The moment grew extremely tense as he shouted for help, uncertain whether anyone nearby could hear him at all. Finally, the shepherd responsible for the dogs arrived. As soon as the shepherd appeared, the entire pack instantly pulled back, retreating as though a switch had been turned, and Alexander was finally out of danger.
Oh man, they just wouldn't leave me alone. And then finally the shepherd came. I was like calling out help. Oh man, it was horrible. I thought I was gone for. Eventually, the shepherd came, and as soon as he arrived, they backed off immediately.
Thinking about it afterward, Alexander admitted the encounter had rattled him badly. Travelers in these mountains are often warned about wolves and bears, but for him the real threat came from animals most people would barely consider. Sometimes the greatest danger is not the one you expect, and it appears when you are already isolated. So would you have known how to react out there in that moment? The next clip is from the Haggard Project, a U.S. outdoor channel centered on solo camping and survival-style journeys. It is February 19th, 2026 at a rural hillside area in the United States. He arrives in a harsh winter storm. Wind and rain disrupt the setup. The location is exposed with nothing blocking the weather and visibility is poor. He tries to install a solar-powered night vision camera system, but the storm gets in the way. Moisture wind and weak signal reduce reliability. With no cell service and equipment that cannot be trusted, awareness is limited before night even begins.
If that's on the inside or the outside, but that's a handprint. And the wind is picked up, so I'm gonna have to do emergency recon. Wind is getting really bad up here. As you can see, it's knocked over my stuff, so I'm gonna pack it in. I'm just gonna focus on driving out of here.
The conditions keep deteriorating as powerful gusts start blowing over gear, making him choose safety over surveillance. He retreats from the hillside, leaving the camera setup behind and losing sight of the area. From that point on, he is no longer watching the situation, only responding to it. This moment is shaped by control slipping away. The environment cuts, visibility interrupts equipment, and reduces awareness one step at a time. The handprint is noticeable, but it is not pursued or verified. Instead, it becomes part of the bigger problem, being unable to know what is happening around you. And in weather like this, where the storm overrules every plan, the missing visibility becomes the main danger. Sometimes the real threat is not what is outside, but what you are no longer able to see. So would you stay and risk it or leave before it gets worse? This next clip is from The Explorer Returns, a UK-based channel centered on solo overnight stays in isolated and often unsettling places. On April 18, 2026, the creator stayed alone overnight in a woodland nature reserve somewhere in the United Kingdom. Before he even stepped into the trees, the location already carried context. Local legends connected the area to paranormal sightings and a headless horseman. He was not entering without knowledge. The place had a reputation, and he understood that. Still, he continued choosing to remain there through the night by himself.
It's getting dark really quick, everybody. I need to hurry up, otherwise I'm going to be pitching up the tent in the dark. The sun is literally setting in the next 10 minutes. Gotta hurry up. there are power lines leading into town, but because I'm going so far out in this place, I'm going to use the power lines to get back in the morning, because I have no doubt I'm going to get lost. I probably wouldn't even be able to find my way back now.
When he reached the waterfall, he was completely alone. No people, no movement, only the distant sounds of trains and wildlife somewhere beyond him.
It is now dark, so I'm going to get this tent set up, and the only thing I can see around me is trees. Why did I do this? You guys need to help me share this video and get it out there. I just can't believe I'm doing this. Set up with the tent. I've not seen a single person. All I can hear is birds, trains in the distance. You hear that? That's the trains in the distance. It is now pretty much pitch black out here. I'm all alone. There's no really going back now. I don't think I fancy walking all the way back in the pitch black. I'd rather just kind of stay here.
He mentioned how far away he was from any help. He raised the tent quickly, not comfortably, but with speed. Then the surroundings changed. The birds went quiet. The background noise disappeared. In a place like that, when everything falls silent, whatever interrupts the quiet next becomes impossible to dismiss.
Oh my god, spider on my hands. Oh, shit. Guys, I'm telling you, there's someone out there.
Then the disturbance arrived. Footsteps nearby, along with sticks cracking beneath something moving. Together, it suggested something heavy passing close to him. The noises did not drift away into the distance. They remained near his position, changing the moment from ordinary woodland sound into something that felt like an intentional presence.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? I am in fucking pitch black. What the fuck was that?
He called out more than once. Nothing answered. No voice, no movement, no clear sign of what was there. Only the silence came back, making the uncertainty deeper instead of solving it.
With a torch. Get the fuck out of there. Guys, there's someone with a fucking torch.
Then, near the forest edge, firefighters approached him. They were responding to a report that someone had tried to start a fire in the woodland. That introduced a confirmed second factor, another person nearby with a clear purpose. Suddenly, the night contained more than one problem at the same time. After the firefighters arrived, the unexplained part of the night gained a possible explanation, but not a complete one. Something had been out there, and it was not a ghost. What do you think was moving near his camp before the firefighters appeared? On December 24th, 2022, a YouTuber named Noah, who runs the channel Noah.Nowhere, entered an abandoned house expecting a routine explore. His channel focuses on urban exploration, empty buildings, forgotten rooms, and spaces people walked away from.
Alright guys, so this is the outside of the house. It's kind of a small little house. It's like a raised bungalow. That's why we don't have a upstairs. Pretty interesting looking house though. Walking in this door. Got Buzz Lightyear over there.
Outside, it seemed ordinary. It was not. Inside, the house was destroyed. Garbage was scattered everywhere, and there were clear signs that someone had stayed there recently.
It stinks in here too. Like, it absolutely reeks of just like urine. It's terrible. They sealed off a door that used to be here, obviously. That's kind of weird. I hate when there's stuff hung up like this in houses. Like, usually that means somebody's squatting in there.
As Noah moved from room to room, each discovery became more unsettling. One room had been sealed off with a tarp pulled across the doorway. Noah recognized the setup as something he'd encountered before, often a sign that someone had been staying inside.
Yeah, like look at this. I would say that somebody's definitely was or still is squatting in here. This whole room's like set up. Like, why are there random dresses? Like, that's so creepy. Like, why is there just like a random dress pinned up? newspapers pinned to the walls all around. It's like a ritual. That's what it looks like. It looks like it's like they're sacrificing something. Those are car keys for a Mazda. What are they doing in here? That's not good. Again, you have like another, like a little dress pinned up with a bike wheel. It's so weird. It's so weird though, because like these two entire walls are covered in newspapers, and then like the little like dresses and stuff hanging up. That's one of the creepier things I've seen in a while.
Still, he stepped through. What he saw made him stop. The walls were covered from floor to ceiling with newspaper pages pinned across every surface. Two dresses were also fastened to the walls, arranged in a way that offered no clear explanation. A bicycle wheel had been mounted near one of them. Car keys sat inside the room with no clear reason for being there. Noah had no reference point for what he was seeing. The arrangement did not fit anything he could explain, and the longer he remained there, the less understandable it felt. He could not tell whether it had been created by someone unstable, someone in mourning, or something else entirely. The room felt placed, not simply left behind, as if the person who made it had a purpose for every item. After the video was posted, one viewer suggested another explanation. Their idea was that whoever had lived there had lost a family, a child, and a partner in an accident involving a bicycle. The dresses belonged to them. The wheel represented what happened. The newspapers, the layout, all of it was a way to keep them close, not a ritual, a memorial. The viewer said the room did not scare them. It made them sad. A room like that can mean many things depending on who lived there and what pain they carried. Some places tell a story without revealing the whole truth. What do you think was really happening inside that room? This next clip comes from Moxley's Paranormal World, a UK-based channel centered on solo nighttime investigations in remote wooded places using live audio gear and very little light. On March 12, 2026, the creator entered a woodland nature reserve somewhere in the United Kingdom completely alone. Before he even stepped into the area, the place already carried a backstory. Not only local legends, but incidents he said he had encountered there himself. Shadowy figures, people appearing then disappearing. The feeling of walking into something without a physical shape. He was not treating it as an unfamiliar location. To him, it was already active.
Look at that then. I'm not too sure if that was something on the trail here. It says Bible, then it sounded like, I don't know, it almost sounded like somebody was walking.
Early in the session, his audio device started producing responses. Separate words came through, broken, scattered. By themselves, they did not mean much. But against everything he already believed about that place, they began to feel organized. That was how it started, not with solid proof, but with sounds that appeared to fit what he had expected to find.
So, if I heard a whisper or not then, diabolical. Diabolical? Just after I heard a whisper, it sounded like a whisper, diabolical. Did you just come in?
He pushed farther in. The surroundings did not visibly change, yet something about the space felt different, disturbed. Then he saw a mark on a tree formed like a cross. On its own, it could be explained easily. Within everything else already unfolding, it seemed like part of something bigger.
Fucking chills that. Please tell me you heard that. That was a voice. That was definitely a voice. I can't make out what it said, but it was a voice that said something. Did I just hear your voice?
Then movement came. Quick. Footsteps close to where he stood. He turned around. It stopped at once. That pattern sound reaction, then sudden silence, felt intentional to him, as if whatever made the noise understood that he had noticed it.
Whistling. Did you just whistle? Did you just whistle? Someone speaking. Right. I keep getting a sensation like somebody's...
Afterward came voices. Weak, broken, but organized enough to resemble speech. Then clearer. Phrases that seemed to imply direction, movement, pursuit. That became the turning point. It no longer felt like something merely existing in the woods. It felt like something knew his location and was answering him.
Say, which way did he go? Not really recorded. I've just sat here for a bit because I don't know if it was maybe somebody somewhere else and they've lost a dog, or if there is actually somebody out here in the woods. And I keep hearing police just outside the woods. You just don't know if there's somebody else here, and he might be looking for somebody who's in the woods, some convict that's escaped from prison. It sounds a bit far-fetched, but I heard people say 2 people, and they went, so I just turned everything off and we just made my way down here. But I think I'm going to start trying to find my way out of here, because I've come quite deep into the woods now. And if there is people here, they're not using a torch, because I've not seen a torchlight. I'm literally lighting the place up. So if there's people here and they're watching me, they know exactly where I am. I have not got a clue.
The investigation stopped feeling like an investigation. It began to feel like a threat. He chose to leave, not because anything had been proven, but because staying no longer felt like a sensible choice. Audio devices in places like this can catch plenty of things, wind far off traffic noises, traveling strangely through trees at night. But a pattern that appears to answer and follow is harder to dismiss completely. What do you think was in those woods with him there?